The code within the genius. Leonardo da Vinci was a man who saw what others couldn't, a painter obsessed with anatomy, an inventor sketching helicopters centuries before they flew. But behind his brilliance was something deeper, a thirst for hidden truths. He was a man who lived between faith and doubt, science and symbolism. His notebooks, written in mirror script, are filled with odd riddles and diagrams. What was he hiding, and why did he fear others reading his work? Some say it wasn't fear, it was strategy. Because within these cryptic pages may lie the map to one of the greatest secrets in history, the location and nature of the Holy Grail. The Grail, not a cup, but a bloodline? Most people imagine the Holy Grail as a golden chalice, the cup Christ drank from at the Last Supper. But this image was invented much later. Earlier records, especially those tied to Gnostic traditions, speak of the Grail not as an object, but as a bloodline. According to the controversial hypothesis popularized by some historians and authors, the Grail was Mary Magdalene herself. She was not just a follower, they argue, but the wife of Jesus and the bearer of his bloodline. If this were true, then protecting her legacy would become the most dangerous act of all. And who better to conceal such a secret in plain sight than a master of symbolism, Leonardo da Vinci? The Last Supper, a painting that speaks in silence. Painted between 1495 and 1498 in Milan, The Last Supper is more than a masterpiece. It's a riddle in fresco, one that speaks louder in what it doesn't say than in what it does. Look closely. The figure seated to the right of Jesus, long hair, delicate features, feminine presence. Is that truly the Apostle John as the Church claims? Or is it Mary Magdalene? Leonardo painted her with a mirror image posture to Jesus. Their bodies form the letter M. For Magdalene? The space between them is not random. It forms a distinct V shape. In art, V has long symbolized the feminine womb, the vessel of life. And then there's the missing chalice. In a painting titled The Last Supper, the one object you'd expect, the Holy Grail, is nowhere to be seen. Or is it? The Brotherhood of the Grail. Leonardo's Italy was a place of secrets. The Renaissance was not just an era of art and discovery. It was a battleground between the Catholic Church and the secret societies that challenged it. Among these were the Priory of Sion and the Knights Templar, two groups often linked to the preservation of the Holy Grail's secret. Documents such as the Dossier's Secrets, allegedly found in the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris, name Leonardo da Vinci as a Grand Master of the Priory of Sion. Was he merely a painter? Or was he initiated into a brotherhood tasked with guarding ancient knowledge through symbols, geometry, and coded texts? If the Grail was a bloodline, then it needed protectors. And da Vinci's works may have served as beacons to future generations who knew how to read them. The mirror and the map. Leonardo often spoke of mirrors, not just as tools for optics, but as metaphors. Every painting is a mirror of the soul, he wrote. His notebooks reverse words. His diagrams hide geometry inside the folds of human anatomy. One drawing, the Vitruvian Man, is not just about proportions. It may represent the alignment of divine and earthly forms, man, star, circle, square, elements used in sacred mapping since antiquity. Some researchers believe Leonardo encoded directions in his art, angles that match the placement of certain churches, symbols that align with star constellations. Was he pointing not to a chalice, but to a location? The legacy of silence. Leonardo died in 1519, but before his death, he left behind thousands of pages, dozens of paintings, and one final request, that his notes be scattered, not collected. Why? Was it simply humility, or an effort to prevent someone from seeing the full picture? After his death, rumors swirled, that he had spoken of a woman in red, that he had written letters in code to a French noble family, that some of his final words were not about God or glory, but about truth hidden in light. The Church canonized its own history, but the silences of da Vinci's work speak volumes. In a world controlled by dogma, he painted questions. He sculpted riddles. He left behind enough pieces to hint, but never enough to prove. The unfinished journey. To this day, people search. In libraries, in cathedrals, in dusty crypts and digital pixels. They study the folds of robes, the tilt of eyes in paintings centuries old. They believe Leonardo left something more. Perhaps the Grail is not a cup, not even a bloodline. Perhaps it's the act of seeking itself, the courage to question, the vision to see what others ignore. Leonardo da Vinci is long gone, but his echo remains in every spiral, every golden ratio, every unblinking gaze of Mona Lisa. He left us the pieces, the rest is up to us. The Grail itself, cup, bloodline, or cosmic key. The Holy Grail, the most pursued artifact in human legend, may not be an object at all. The word Grail comes from the Old French graal, meaning a dish or cup, but in older Gnostic traditions it referred to something much deeper, a vessel of truth. In medieval texts, the Grail is depicted as glowing, self-renewing, and only visible to the pure of heart. It heals, it reveals, it judges. But if the Grail were just a cup, why did it command the obsession of kings, crusaders, and secret societies for over 1,000 years? Why would the Church allegedly erase Magdalene's role? And why did artists like Leonardo subtly embed her likeness into sacred scenes? Some historians suggest that the Grail is a metaphor for divine feminine energy, for sacred lineage, or even for a gateway to higher consciousness. A controversial theory claims that the Grail is not of earthly origin, that it represents knowledge seeded by otherworldly intelligence, preserved in symbols and bloodlines. These ideas, once confined to myth and fringe philosophy, gained momentum after discoveries of hidden scrolls beneath the Rennes-le-Château in southern France, linking Da Vinci's works to Templar guardianship. Even the Fibonacci sequence, which Leonardo used often, has been tied to sacred geometry used in ancient temples across Egypt, India, and Mesoamerica. Was the Grail ever meant to be found, or is the search itself the awakening Da Vinci hoped to inspire? A legacy carved in silence. Leonardo da Vinci never openly declared any allegiance to heresy, nor did he ever claim to possess knowledge of the Grail, and yet his life's work hints otherwise. From cryptic anatomy studies to theological inversions in his paintings, Da Vinci led viewers away from doctrine and toward questions, toward symbols. The Holy Grail may be real, or it may be a cipher, a vessel for whatever truth the seeker needs most. But if it does exist, hidden in geometry, legacy, or blood, Leonardo da Vinci may have left us a roadmap, not one made of ink and parchment, but one etched in symmetry, light, and divine mystery. His final smile left eternally in the gaze of the Mona Lisa may be the world's most elegant riddle, as if he's still waiting for someone, anyone, to finally understand. Final revelation, or just the beginning. Centuries have passed, yet the mystery remains. The Church offers tradition, science offers logic, but Leonardo da Vinci offered something far more dangerous, possibility. Perhaps the Holy Grail was never meant to be held, only understood. Not through faith or conquest, but through awakening. Maybe Leonardo saw beyond religion and reason, and in doing so, left behind the blueprint not for an object, but for enlightenment. Across his notebooks, frescoes, and inventions, he embedded layers, codes within codes, patterns that whisper to those willing to look deeper. Not everything has been deciphered. Not everything has been found. Some believe that the final piece of the puzzle lies not in his paintings or journals, but in a yet undiscovered chamber beneath the ruins of a forgotten monastery outside Florence, one sealed for over 500 years. What lies beneath? No one knows. Not yet. But one thing is certain. The truth Leonardo hinted at still lives in shadow, waiting, watching, for the right mind to see not just what is painted, but what has been left out. The Grail is not lost, it is hidden, and perhaps you've already looked upon it and never realized.